Hey, so at your request here, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the score, the health, and I'll mention a little bit about how I incorporated an if statement. So the score, basically, you need to figure out how you want the score to increase. In my case, I want the score to increase when I shoot down an alien ship. As soon as this starts, there we go. Click this. So when I shoot one down, I want the score to increase by one. That's just how that's going to work. So I need to go to the place where I'm sensing whether the alien ship is touching a bullet from the spaceship, or you can do it in either sprite because they can sense each other. I believe I did hear that in the alien, and excuse me, in the spaceship. Notice here, I when I start as a clone, the bullet is a clone of the spaceship. I switch costumes to a missile, is what I'm calling it. And then I'm going to repeat until I'm touching the edge because the missile is going up. It eventually will touch the edge. And then I want to stop this looping. Change Y by 5. That moves it up by 5 units every time. If at any point I'm touching an alien ship, I'm going to increase the score by 1, change score by 1, wait a tenth of a second. The reason I wait a tenth of a second is because it's possible that the alien ship is in contact with the missile for multiple frames. And so it might run up the score. It might increase the score by more than one when you shoot it down. So I wait a tenth of a second and then I delete the clone, the missile. I delete the missile. Okay, this code is in the spaceship. So if I never hit a spaceship, by the way, here I have another if statement, but if I never hit the spaceship, I reach the edge of the screen, I'm going to delete the clone as well. And then I have a check here for increasing the level of the game. If the score reach is greater than 10, notice this is not inside of the loop. I don't want to keep checking this because you're going to change the score by 1 when you kill, when a missile kills an alien ship. And then the next bullet will be a separate clone. If ever the score is greater than 10, I'm going to set level to 2. The level is set to 1 when the game is first started. So again, you need to find where you want to increase the score or what it is that needs to happen for you to increase the score. The health decreases when an alien ship reaches the bottom of the screen. Notice if I kill all of these except the last one, my scoring decreased. Every time an alien ship reaches the bottom of the screen, my health goes down by 10. So that code is going to be in the alien ship. Notice I do start health at 100. That is not here. It is probably in the spaceship. Let me see. I've made both the score and the health. It's right here. I've made both the score and the health variables that are global variables. They're for all sprites. So when you make a variable, you have the option to make it for this sprite only. Well, I've made health and score a variable that is for all sprites so that they all have access to it. Health was initialized to 100 in the spaceship. It could have been done here as well. Doesn't matter. And then here, the alien ship is a clone. So all the code for the clone is here. If it's level 2, change the costume to Alien 2, which is a red spaceship. It's a copy of it, just red instead. That's if level is 2. If it's not, it's going to stay green. And then here I have something that basically creates a new clone. We only create clones if the variable clone is greater than 0, and if it's less than the length of X position, meaning if it's still within the length of X position, or if it's equal to the length of X position. The reason why I need to do that is because X position is a list. And clone is supposed to be the item number from the list. So clone should be at the very least 1, because you have that's the first item. So clone should be 1. It should be bigger than 0, and at most clone should be 9. It cannot be 10 because there's no 10th clone. What was happening is that if I did let clone be 10, It was making a clone at 0, 0, right here in the middle of the screen. And so that's not what I want. Now, again, clone can be a number between 1 and 9. So greater than 0, less than 9, or equal to 9. That's what this means. That's because the variable clone is used to grab an item from your X position list. Notice if I remove that, that says item 1, or it could be item 2, item 3, item 4, it doesn't matter, uh, as long as it's not more than 9. Show the clone, go to that position. This gets the clone started on the formation. Repeat until you're touching the edge of the screen, so it's going down. If you touch a spaceship, delete the clone. A spaceship would be the missile, because the missile is a clone of the spaceship. Change Y by speed Y. That's basically -2. That's how much every time you're moving 2 down. Speed Y is initialized here. I thought about changing the speed, but it's just always -2. Here's where the health decreases. If the Y position of an alien ship, notice I can go to motion and I can get this little block, Y position. This is the position of every clone of the alien ship. Oh, and it says when I start as a clone. So this happens for every clone. Every clone has its own Y position. If the Y position is less than -150, -150 is right here. That's where the spaceship is at. Notice the Y coordinate here. It's -150. So if that's true, meaning if the alien ship has reached -150, I'm going to change the health by -10, this variable. Then I say if the health is equal to 0, that means we've basically gone from 100 all the way down to 0. Then I'm going to broadcast game over. And I'm going to set the health to 0 because I didn't want this to be a negative number. It's still showing up as a negative number. So that's just a bug that I need to fix. So what does broadcast game over do? It stops everything. It's a game over. So I want you to see here how I do have when I receive game over, stop all. That means it stops everything. Stops all the scripts from the alien ship. If I go to spaceship, I also have when I receive game over, I'm gonna hide the spaceship and then stop all. And then for the game over screen, when the flag is click, hide it because we don't want it to show. When I receive game over, show. So that's how this screen shows up. So broadcasting a message is a good way to stop things, start things, and specifically, I guess, a game over screen or a start screen, excuse me, there. So that's how health and score work. There's a lot more to how using the procedure here, the my block. Basically, what I did is I want the first row of clones to look like this, and then the second row to be staggered. And so I'm thinking like an even and odd row. That's what I'm thinking of. That's why I have odd equal to 1. If odd equals 1, set clone to 1. If odd is not equal to, and then set odd to 0. And then if clone is, if it's not equal to 1, then set clone to 0 and set odd to 1. And basically this is alternating every time. Now clone equal to 1 means it grab the first item from your list. Clone equal to 0 means grab the 0th item from your list. However, we don't quite get the 0th item because we create a clone and we immediately increase clone by 2. So we would get the second item or the third. So this is a little more complex, but it does satisfy the requirement for selection and repetition iteration. Also, I use the parameter clones apart. So I hope this helps. If you need a little more guidance, let me know.